What's good, YouTube? Runicks YGL here. We did it pretty quick. In 2 weeks time we made Masters. We'll be going towards the end of the month to try to go to Masters 1, and again we did it with Maliss Fiendsmith, or what I like to call Maliss Smith. It really works. It even worked during the time Ryzeal came out. I had a fun time playing the deck. I got in the Masters really quickly. I went on a huge win streak fighting a bunch of Ryzeal, and I want to show off only duels against Ryzeal because Ryzeal is the top dog and the newest kid on block, so we'd like to just show off and show how I play against it. We had to change the deck a little bit based off the meta. We just had to add Droll Lock. Droll Lock was the MVP. It saved me on so many games where when I got Maxied Fuvalos, I played through it, and this deck can definitely play through it with both engines. Fiendsmith can play through it, and Maliss can Fiendsmith can play through it, and Maliss can also play through Fuvalos. So it can work, and drolling yourself does work. In addition, we did drop one, keeping one Lancia for the mirror match and crossout designate. So it worked. No changes other than that. Check out my other previous videos if you want to see a better breakdown. But let's just jump straight into duels against Ryzeal, and then I would like to show off the second stage and how I played the Synchro Cup. One thing I do want to mention before we start playing against Ryzeal, within this meta and format right now, I personally think you definitely need 2 or more hand traps non-engine to be able to play, because you can't stop your opponent from they go full combo, full end board. It's just almost unbreakable unless you're going a second within a deck. Yeah, it shows off how Fiendsmith was my savior, and every time they stop my Maliss, whether it's from non-engine or just stunning me or breaking my board, Fiendsmith just came in clutch and was just that tip that I needed just to push for a game and end up being victorious. Shout out to Fiendsmith. I personally love the deck because you could just splash it in almost any deck, including Ryzeal. So all these games are just against Ryzeal, and let's just see how I do. Pretty firefight type of games that I just wanted to show off, that just show why it's necessary playing this way instead of just pure. Pure is just as good, or if not better. The spice of Fiendsmith is what I was looking for. So at the time of the recording, we're currently at 11,000. I'm currently at 5,700 place. I want to push for top 5,000, but it was super sweaty. I'd like to show off some games about that too. I'm glad to just be in the top 10,000. That's fine by me. It wasn't as fun as I thought it would be, but it was still fun to get to max rank. Real quick, this was the deck as all that we played through. It was a lot more consistent when I had 2 branded regains because I wanted to see it, and I even added branded beasts. So that was the change in the deck upon playing throughout the Synchro Cup. But overall, it breaks this deck, but when everything runs fine, you can definitely use every single card in the extra deck. Super fun though. Hope you guys enjoyed these replays. Let's go to rank and then Synchro Cup. So as a reminder again, all these games will be against Ryzeal, just showing how I played through it and my mindset against playing against them. How Fiendsmith is the MVP to really push for games here. So starting off, we just go full Fiends Maliss combo here. Getting March Chair here just because we essentially tried to draw with Chessy Cat, but unfortunately they negate it. That's okay, because now we can just link it for Link Decoder. March Chair banishing Chessy, Chessy coming back from the banishment, linking all 3 into Red Ransom. Red Ransom, chain 2, Link Decoder, getting Maliss in the mirror. Linking into Apollosa to stop herself from getting nibbed. We Gold Sark here to get Dormouse. Dormouse specials. And unfortunately, it gets impermed. At this point, we got pretty stunned just by those hand traps alone to imperm. We essentially just have 4 monster negates here. So I thought it was over against Ryzeal. They 7th Ascension here to get Tachyon. So this is what I mean, that you need like at least more than 2 or 3 hand traps to stop something like Ryzeal. And we really push each other within this game here. They X Ryzeal, and I negate the aggregator, so I'm not completely negated. And then I imperm the X Ryzeal to attempt to stop them. So essentially, we have 2 more monster negates. Little worried, they summon Ice Ryzeal, so I try to negate there. And now we just have 1 monster negate here. They battle phase, attack, and attack. At this point, they go into duo drive. Thankfully, the final push, the one Maliss in the mirror, really saved us here. Because if it wasn't for that, they would have gotten their board, and we probably would have lost there. We get GWC here, and they end phase. So here, this could be kind of bad. Knowing that this could possibly be a hand trap like Imperm, I was thinking to myself, how am I gonna get through this? And can I even continue Maliss? The answer is no. We go into Fiendsmith. Because Fiendsmith can possibly bait here. Because we have GWC already online because it was set on opponent's turn. So we're trying to bait with Engraver to use Requiem to send to the grave. So we're threatening them. And it goes through. At this point, we link in this Fiendsmith sequence. Going into Lacrima. Lacrima getting Engraver. And I believe we're gonna go into Hiking Caesar because we want to keep sequence to Synchro Climb, in other words. And at that point, it was all said and done. For game 2, we go first again, and they on standby use Fuvalo. So we ash that, and man, we easily got through that. And so we try to Engraver to do some Fiendsmith engine first, starting it off. And unfortunately, we get drolled here. But thankfully, Maliss could play through Droll in some little way still. Maybe not a full end board, but you can still make a half board. And that's what's pretty good about both Fiendsmith and Droll, is that you could play depending on your hand. And at this point, we're just trying to just get a board that we can with getting drolled here. So when we banish, Dormouse comes back. We got 4 bodies that we could go through. 5, actually. And at this point, we go into Apollosa. And then we just go into Whitebinder to set back GWC. Banishing their cards. Getting March Hare back to my hand. And having Fiendsmith for later. We GWC here and we set. So here we have 2 monster negate, 1 draw from Whitebinder, and 1 banishment. That's 4 interruptions here that I wasn't that confident, but they have 3 cards going into 4. And how will they play? They imperm our Apollosa, only giving us 2 interruptions now, which makes it feel bad. At this point, we call by the grave them too, to dodge White Rabbit getting banished with Called By. Use the effect to set our banishment. So we have that happen, and then they Ice Ryzeal. So at this point, I thought, oh no, we lost. We're gonna lose because we don't have what it takes to stop them. So they Execution Knight here, or Exition Knight here, or Exiton, my bad. And so we MTP 7 to attempt to banish it to stop their plays. But they Ash Blossom. Whitebinder comes back, drawing the best card, Nib. I thought I was destined to lose. Once I saw the nib, I was like, oh my goodness, we can actually win now. Because they played through all our hand traps and they found the outs that I thought they could easily just pop our board and just win next turn. So having Dormouse here protects them. So keep that in mind that Maliss cards can still have some sort of protection. The regular Maliss cards. So they use it twice, popping the whole field. Special summoning, using Aggregator. So I don't want them to XYZ summon in my mind. So when they got Node Ryzeal, and then they summoned it, Nibiru. And they just scooped. That was just a lucky draw of getting a top deck Nibiru. So a game like this, I wanted to bring up because it does and can happen against Ryzeal players. They go first, we're going second, and they just end phase. So that gives me the indication that they bricked, but they have a bunch of non-engine. Maliss plays minimum 20 hand traps, so half their hand is going to be non-engine board breakers or hand trap. That means even though they can't play, we can't play either. Fiendsmith can definitely play through boards, and because of Fiendsmith, it doesn't out us. That's exactly why I want to show this replay, because we played through about 4 hand traps, and still we're gonna win this turn. So, good draw there with Droll. They mulch armies here, knowing that we just played Fabled Blurry and we're gonna go into Fiendsmith Requiem. They draw one, so we Droll and lock here. The second non-engine, they play Maxi, but thankfully it doesn't matter. It's still gonna go through. Droll and lock. And then they play their third non-engine. So then at this point, we March Hare here. This point was really good that they negate the Fiendsmith engine, but the Maliss engine is now online. Dormouse getting special. Dormouse sending White Rabbit. White Rabbit getting us, I believe, GWC. Yep. Linking into Link Decoder. All into White Binder. So again, playing with Droll and Lock, you have to play a little bit different because you can't add things to your hand. Therefore, going into Red Ransom is not that as optimal as I want to go into it. So we White Binder banish. Then Link Decoder comes back. Thankfully, with Link Decoder being here too, we're able to go into our Link 4 is a lot easier. And then we March Hare to bring it back to our hand. And we still have Maliss and Underground. So, all because of Fiendsmith getting that negation there, we still went full Maliss combo. Chesty Cat attempts to draw. I was going to send March Hare and just draw 2. But there, we literally played 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 hand traps. And managed to still get game. By linking into Heart Scripter, battle phase, attacking effect with GWC banishing, White Binder coming back, gaining life, getting back Heart Scripter at 5600 attack, going for game. That was just enough. So it is lucky, but it can happen that Ryzeal will brick and just have a bunch of non-engine due to how many they play. That's exactly why I want to at least showcase this, that this can happen. This game going first, we get on the jump, we get Max Fuvad. So I Gold Sark here to try to go into Dormouse. Playing around Fuva, we get Max Seed now. So I'm just gonna turn in because I don't want them to draw. Really sucks, but here we only have 3 interruptions here if you want to count Lancia, but we are fighting against Ryzeal. They actually miraculously also break. Back-to-back games on my ranked games, my Ryzeal players brick because they play so many hand traps. But that doesn't mean we're out of the woods yet. So we get March Hare here. And the top deck Fiendsmith. So Fiendsmith is essentially going to try to bait so we could go full combo Maliss here. They call by the grave there. Exactly what I needed. So now we Dormouse to get Effect Veiler. But it's okay, we already have March Hare in our hand. So it's like a normal summon Dormouse, and then go into Link Decoder, and you already had March Hare in your hand. March Hare banishing Dormouse, Dormouse coming back, linking all three into Red Ransom. Red Ransom attempting to add, and then chaining. They imperm us. We're pretty stunned, but watching this game, it's so satisfying that we still have a play. And that play is going into Access Code Talker. Access Code Talker targeting Red Ransom, getting 5,300, banishing, knowing they got lethal. Feels so good. I love Access Code Talker. For stage 2 of the Synchro Cup, we are still playing White Forest Bystials. This really helped me climb. I truly like the deck, and for this game, we are fighting against Speedriods, and we turned 1 Cosmic Blazar Dragon them. We Lubellion to try to bait, but I guess they had no hand traps. So we LZ, sending evenly, getting White Forest, Sylvie getting us Woes. You don't need Tails. Here, we go into Ryzeal sending Woes. Getting impermed here. That's okay, because we want that instead of our Lubellion to get impermed. We set Woes. We Bystial Magna Hut to send LZ. Getting Lubellion. Here, we try to get Regain and Success. We got it. Because then we Bystial Druid Worm to banish, to draw. Setting Branded Beast. Going into Centurion Legacia getting us White Tales of the White Forest. And here, easily, like I mentioned, you need Legacia and Lubellion in order to go into Crimson Dragon. So we Tails here to get LZ of the White Forest for follow-up. Going into Crimson Dragon. Crimson Dragon gets us Cosmic Blazar. And then we get Synchro Rumble for next turn. Or this turn, my mistake. We do this so we can set up for Woes. Then we get Baldrake. So this interruption, ideally how you want to see an end board, we're going to have 1 Omni Negate, 1 Book of Eclipse, 1 Branded Beast pop, 1 Banishment with Baldrake, and 1 Imperm. That's 5 interruptions for our opponent that they need to go through. And in the Synchro Cup, there's not a lot of plays that you could go through. So they Speedroid Wheel, getting Speedroid Marble. So we get Druid Swarm. My mistake, we have Druid Swarm too. That's 7 interruptions here. So then we Speedroid, or negate it, and they knew it was over. 7 interruptions here. Ideally, the board you want to play, it's just very inconsistent because of White Forest needing a spell, and I need the right amount of Bystials in my hand. For game 2, we're on the jump fighting Tenpai, and they just Perulia us. I try to Ash Blossom here because I don't want them to draw from Sylvie. We're at least full combo White Forest here, and that's really all we could do. But knowing Tenpai, we're going to get interrupted. And that we do. So against Tenpai, this is our interruptions here. All we have is 2 hand traps and 1 Book of Eclipse. 3 interruptions. Not ideal, but this was a fun game because they try to Tenpai Genroku. Genroku gets negated, and Tenpai can't play through any hand traps that once they get interrupted once, it's pretty much over. They triple tactics thrust for talents. but they can't use it. So at end phase, we woes, and they ash us. So here is why this is my favorite game. Nothing happens for the next, what, 5 turns? I draw more non-engine. We battle phase. We attack. End phase. Opponent goes, they end phase. So they don't have a play either. I don't have a play. I draw evenly. Not the best against Tenpai, because you're probably dead before the battle phase ends. We end. I get more and more nervous as we go into turn 7. I finally get a play with Sylvie here. We get Tails. Tails sends evenly. We get Mulcharmied Meows. Getting the other LZ. Going into Ryzeal. Ryzeal attempting to get Rucia. Rucia special summoning themselves. They Bystial Ball Drake or Magna Hut us, so we maxi here because at this point I know what they're gonna get at the end phase. They are gonna get some Tenpai cards. So we get nibbed here. I wanted to really quit here. I was sad, but we draw a Ball Drake, good Bystial. Then Sylvie coming back, linking the two into this patter. This patter using their own card against them. We use Bystial Magna Hut. Taking it on our side. They drew twice. We Synchro Rumble. Synchroing the two for Baron the floor. They're at 5,000 attack. We pop. We battle phase. We attack. And we end up beating Tenpai. Ideally, I'm probably gonna lose to Tenpai most of the time, but this game felt good that I stick through. Now, this game was a very fun game I did on stream that I want to just share because I was proud to out a tower. We're fighting against Punk, and Punk can summon a really strong tower that when they get interrupted here, that's the only interruption that we had. They link into Dragon Drive. And go into Psychic and Punisher. Here, I thought this is gonna be a difficult one. I thought I would lose, but we had evenly and I went through it. So we battle phase, they evenly, they tried to gain attack. We banished the two. I normal summon for White Forest. We summon LZ, link the two into Ryzeal. Ryzeal sends Woes. We get Morian here. Then we get LZ. So we send Morian. We get the other Rucia. We went through all our White Forest cards. Going into Chaos Angel. Now you're wondering why we go to Chaos Angel is important here. Because we linked it off with a light and a dark with Rucia and Baldrake, meaning our synchro cards cannot be destroyed by battle now. And then we go into Diabell. Now granted, I should have put it in defense position because you'll see the out. The out is obviously we need to swing into this monster, but you know, I could easily die by swinging into this, but we are protected. Once per turn, you can pay 1,000 and they could banish a card that I control, but they can't banish Chaos Angel or any synchro cards because they're unaffected, our synchro monsters, by activated cards, monster effects. So we are just setting up for when I could swing for lethal. Diabell getting by me back in perm, and we set. Here, what we have is protection with Chaos Angel. Diabell do a Synchro 10. Woes to go into Book of Eclipse. 1 Book of Moon, special summon monster Morian. And 2 hand traps. That's 6 interruptions here that our opponent has to go through. They normal summon, trying to get Ghost Ogre sent to the grave. It's unaffected. And then the battle phase. Now, this is where they should have attacked and it would have been over, but they did not. Because here, this is what I had to do. I should have summoned everything in defense position. Our opponent used Psychic and Punisher's effect to gain life points on battle phase. So I just get Zapper Shrimp, send Woes back, battle, lose 7,400 or take 7,400. We're at 600 life points left. Now at battle phase, this card, Morian, was MVP. We just go into Baron the Floor, pop, and we got rid of the tower. Opponent tries to Psy-Frame here. That's okay, because Woes is still online, and we still have Omni Negate here. I was okay with doing this, just because I knew we had enough to play through 2 cards that they had left. They call by the grave here. Big mistake to target Diabell, because they missed target. That was a really fun game to show off how you can play around the tower. Last and final game, we're playing against Resonators. They bone Archfield, so we just try to negate that, and that's pretty much turn ending. They could only play through like 1 or 2 hand traps. So our turns, we L's at White Forest to send Woes. I did not want to get Max Seed, but we did. It hurts, because they have to draw, but I don't want them to draw too much. And we don't even get Woes, so feels bad. But that's okay, because Sylvie can easily get me it back. Synchro the 2 for Silvera. Silvera setting it face down. Attack for 4,800. And here, we just have 1 interruption here, which is just a Book of Eclipse. So this is important to time it properly. They use Earthbound to search. They normal summon Soul Resonator to get Vision Resonator. Play Void Apocalypse to send it to the grave. And here, this is where I don't want them to play too much. They try to special summon here, and this is where we Woes. They are trying to synchro summon, and I know that. So we go into Silvera once again. Bone Archfield comes back. We chain 1, chain 2 LZ to chain block. Setting the 2, they Crimson Gaia. Crimson Gaia gets them this trap. I saw this card, Fiendish Golem. If you don't know what it does, here, target 1 monster on the field with 2,000 or more. Attack banish it until the end of the next turn end phase. Then you can activate this card while you control a red dragon archfiend or a synchro when you set it. So I knew how to get around it and try to OTK them here. We special summon Rushia. Rushia sends Tails to try to draw a Bystial. No luck. We LZ here. Linking into Tri-Edge to try to draw. Once again, we need to keep the Silvera on the field, because essentially we're trying to pop that set card. So here we have just enough. We have Tri-Edge here. We get Sylvie for next turn, and they nib us. This is where I messed up, but thank you for having Cross out in my hand, because playing against that set card and nib was not gonna happen. Thankfully, they knew it was over after that. That was my final game, and I made possibly top 5,000 or 10,000. That was it, guys. I had so much fun with both the Synchro Cup and the Season 44's ranked. It was pretty pleasant to get to Masters 5 very easily. Within 2 weeks, I made it. I'm going to try to go to as high as I can. No promises guaranteed, but I'll try my best for the remaining rest of the season. We got the next Steam Chronicles. We are currently at 11,000 points, and with rank right now, people are slowly climbing, but I'm just out of the top 5,000, unfortunately. Hopefully, I could just make it in the top 10,000, but we will just have to see. But thank you guys so much for watching. It was a fun season. I can't wait to do Theme Chronicles next. We're pretty much balling in gems too. We're ready for the next season for the next deck, for the next format. Bring it on. We did it. Runicks YGL out.